shy and afraid to admit it because I would not want people around me or my peers to feel uncomfortable. But I realized that my whole life I really liked being around the old people because they were so wise, and this was what I was attracted to. And so the minute that I understood that, it helped me understand my identity. And so I knew what kind of friends to have. I knew what kind of friends not to have. I knew that my friends couldn't choose me and I had to choose my friends. Because if not, I would keep getting hurt. And I'd be saying, why do people always treat me like this? And I didn't understand that it was not a function of people, but what I allowed. As I always say, that what you permit is what you produce. So you have to be intentional with what you permit. And I spoke about the key characteristics of a woman who has a vision. And the number one thing, which was where we stayed at last week, is clarity. When you can clarify, I mean, we're all believers here. The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. You need clarity. There's so many people I speak to, and I find out that how do I describe it? And I find out that, you know how they say, jack of all trades, master of none. I know it's a longer phrase than that, but even when you're doing so many things, something has to take precedence because you have the clarity to understand that when I finish this, then this will help me to do that, and this will do that, and this will do that. You cannot do everything at the same time, not knowing the exact reason why you're doing what you're doing. I always say that I would prefer to plan for 23 hours and take an hour to implement, because that way I know exactly where I'm going. I know what turns to take, what turns not to take. But when I don't know where I'm going, even if I had a map in my hand, I could spend 40 hours looking for a place that could very well be in front of me because I don't have a map, because I don't know where I'm going. There's no clarity. It's like the children of Israel spent 40 years perambulating a place that could have taken 40 days. 40 years. Compare 40 years to 40 days just because they had no clarity. And we can even use that as an example. Part of the things that they did was complain in the place that they were. Because when your heart is so jammed up with problems and the reality of your situation or how it seems, you will not have the clarity of mind to think straight. And sometimes you might not even necessarily need to think. You might just have to stay still. Sometimes I worry. I would worry and I would go to sleep and boom, finally I had the answer without having to do anything at all. And you realize that you had to be in that state of stillness when you were sleeping for your mind to actually allow yourself receive the answer to what you need, because God is within you. God is within you and you have his mind. And so what you need is already there. But when you focus on what seems to be the reality of things, you're never going to move ahead. And so you end up turning in the same circles in a place where you could have forged ahead. Well, it's like, I'm going to go anyway. I'm afraid, but I'm going to do it afraid. I'm afraid, but even though I'm afraid, if I don't move, I'm still going to be back at this spot when I stop being afraid. If I ever stop being afraid. Does that make sense? So we talked about clarity and what clarity is. And so I'm going to continue from there. The key characteristics of a woman who has a vision. Because I believe that every time I have spoken with women, a lot of women, you realize that the biggest problem is clarity. They're like, I just don't know what to do. I just don't know how to do what to do. You're not clear on what you want to do. You say, I want to do this, but you're not clear on what you want to do. If you have a plan A, that plan A will be your plan because you have so clearly broken it down that it is clear that you don't need a plan B or a plan C. You work at it and you keep chiseling it on the side until it becomes the thing that you envisioned. So a woman who has a vision is focused. A woman who has a vision is the woman who has a mission. So the question is, what is your vision? And the second characteristic of a woman with a vision is passion. A passionate woman, and I'm speaking concerning marriage. One second. A woman who is passionate, and I'm speaking concerning marriage, I'm speaking concerning career, I'm speaking concerning anything at all. If there's no passion behind what you're doing, it's a waste of time. If you're doing this because, oh, wow, I saw somebody else doing this thing, I'm going to do it, and it's not something that you've developed a passion for, it will fail. I said the last time that the texture, the very texture of what your vision is, of what your passion is your reason. For instance, I have a notebook here. When I went to the store, I'm sure there were 10 other notebooks there. Why did I pick this one? The reason that I wanted, it just appealed to me. Maybe it was the cover, maybe it was how they wrote it, maybe it was the gold that they just highlighted there. I could have taken a book that had so many colors on it, but it just didn't appeal to me because that reason, you can sense it. That's why I said when a person is marrying a wife, you're not marrying a woman, you're marrying a reason. Oh, I like how she makes me feel. I like her height. I like how she talks. I like how she thinks. When you're buying a bag, you're buying it for its function. I could put my things in here. I mean, some people buy things just off of what's in fashion or what other people are doing. But the visionary, a person who knows where they're going, has to understand the reason why they're doing what they're doing. So you have to be passionate about what you're doing. If you're not passionate about it, you will quit halfway. You encounter some problems, you will quit halfway. You say that you love a person and you're dating them to marry them, or you're married to them, and then you encounter them in their dislikes, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm done. If there's no passion there, you will quit, because the only thing that's going to give you the sustenance to figure out and work things out to the point where you can make it what you want is that passion. The same thing with business. Being an entrepreneur is hard. If you don't have the passion, like I really love to help people. I really love to help people. I'm here because I know that this is what God told me to do. I really love the fact that I really look at, I speak to a lot of women. I have a lot of people that I speak to or that I counsel. And I'm like, people just don't have wisdom. And it's not because they're dumb or anything. It's just like, what you don't know, you just don't know. And sometimes it might just take somebody else to tell you. Sometimes it might just take somebody else to turn on a light for you to see. And the only reason I'm here, like today, I didn't feel like being here. I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't slept. But I had to get up and do it because this is what I've committed to. You know, passion is so important. If you want to do a business as an entrepreneur, or you have people who are your staff, then somebody steals from you the first time. And the second time somebody does something, you're like, yeah, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this. Or God has given you an assignment, He's given you a mandate, and you come under attack because of the mandate that He's given you. And all of a sudden you're like, yeah, this is too hard. God did not call you to be dignified. You were here for His glory. So when you understand that and you're still looking to be dignified, you won't be able to achieve what you need to achieve. But when you understand, my passion is that I love God. And because I love God, I understand that if I don't become who He has called me to be, financially, in my calling, in every sphere, I have failed Him. If I don't marry who He wants me to marry, if I don't raise the kids the way He wants me to raise them, if I don't raise the people around me the way He wants me to do them, I have failed because I have failed Him. So now my primary allegiance is to him. Everything that drives whatever I do, whatever decision I make is with that understanding in mind. I will ask myself literally, what does Jesus think? What does he think? Is everyone looking at me like I'm crazy? For instance, I remember one time I was going to have this fantastic date with my then boyfriend at the time. And I was like, oh, I have to go get my hair done. But I didn't have the time because I was busy. So I said, I'm just going to braid my hair. And somebody said to me, oh, yeah, so you're going to have that ghetto fabulous look. I'm like, what you mean, ghetto fabulous? He said, yeah, because braids is ghetto fabulous. I'm like, because of that, I'm actually about to prove a point. And she gave me an idea. And I actually started to do braids. I would go on the red carpet with my braided hair. Matter of fact, I even stopped wearing makeup just to prove a point. If you don't understand why you do what you do, then somebody came on the internet and said to me, you know, look at your peers. They would always wear makeup. Why is it that you always come barefaced on your Instagram? Why do you always come barefaced on your Instagram? This and this and that. And I could have been mad about it. I remember all the blood picked it because I took it as a teachable moment. And I said to her, I said, I should be offended. I said, but I'm not. I will take this opportunity to school you. I said, those people who glam their faces before they can come on Instagram is great for them. I said, well, look at my face. Do I look like I need to glam my face before I come on Instagram? I said, I don't need to do that. I said, plus it's my page and I'm sharing whatever I'm sharing with you, including this faith. So you should be appreciative of the fact that I'm even coming here in the first place. But let me just take it a little further to explain to you that I don't feel the need to do extra. I said, if I feel like wearing makeup and I already have makeup on, I will come. But to paint my face before I have to come, I said, do you not understand that what a real human being looks like? That you don't understand how to feel when you see a real human being look like a real human being. I said, I don't have that issue. And if you really are one of those people who are not able to be in front of any other person because they don't have makeup on, I really hope that you can find something to do to work on your self-esteem. And that's what I said to her. And blogs went crazy. They were like, oh, Eniola claps back at fan, this and that. I said, I didn't clap back. I just taught her something that she needs to understand. Because the truth is, we get so caught up and so carried away by the noise of what the world is saying that we don't understand that there's a reason for your uniqueness. There's a reason why you are the way that you are. When you're passionate, you're driven by a deep passion for your vision. Your enthusiasm and your commitment is what fuels your dedication, your perseverance. Perseverance is so important. And that's what enables you to overcome setbacks. It's what enables you to overcome antagonism. It's what enables you to overcome whatever it is that's thrown your way. And even your passion will help you to set timelines. You're like, okay, this didn't work now. Let me try this. And between this time and that time, is this making sense so far? Awesome. Another key characteristic of a woman with a vision is ambition. Very similar to passion, but it's not the same. When you're ambitious, you have this strong desire for growth. You have a strong desire for growth and continuous improvement. You don't just say, okay, I'm here now. I make X amount of money, so I'm good. Oh, I have a house now. I have a business. I'm good. Oh, I'm married to the man now. I'm good. So now you don't do anything to maintain the person that you are. You don't grow. And so when that man grows and you're still behind, you're feeling like, you don't like me. Yes, because you ought to grow. You ought to do things to maintain the person that you are. And that includes growth. I always say that you're not truly growing if you're not developing. And a lot of women grow, they don't develop. That's why you have 40-year-old children, 40-year-old girls, 60-year-old. I hear some people say some things and I'm like, what? You have to develop as you grow. If you saw a 15-year-old girl and maybe a girl who's just like maybe hitting puberty or adolescence, maybe a 15-year-old girl, and a 30-year-old, there are distinct features that will let you know who is what. The reason why we can guess people's age is because a woman develops, and from the development, because it's not by height. I've seen 18-year-olds who look like they tower over me. But from the face, as you grow older, your face develops, maybe things like wrinkles, maybe, you have bigger boobs, you have, you're just developed as a woman. If you saw a 30-year-old who didn't have no hair under their arms, who didn't have no pubic hair, who didn't have any form of breast. I mean, people have, and we're all women here, so I'm being very free. People have boobs, women have boobs. But if you have breasts that, you don't have any breasts, you've not developed any breasts, you could very well mistake that person for a 13-year-old. And you wouldn't be wrong to assume that because you haven't seen any sign of development as a woman in them. So a lot of times our ambition helps us to have this desire to grow. And it's so important because it has to be continuous, because whatever is not growing is dying. You have to set standards. And when I say standards, I mean high standards. You don't just look, who's Excel? You don't just go into, how do I put it? You don't just go into a mode of, I look at this person on television, I look at this person on social media, I want to be like them. You have to set the standards. You can't just look at them and say, I really like this person, I wish I could be like them. You have to set the standards for your aspirations. And then your ambition is what will push you to do the things, the steps that would help you become like that person. For instance, and I'm not trying to be shady here, but we know this is a free space, a safe space. You keep talking about wanting to lose weight. So like, I just love this woman's stature. I love her body. I love how she looks. Or you won't stop eating. I'm not one saying don't eat, but can you be disciplined? You're not disciplined, but you talk about you want to look like that person. So when somebody comes with a shortcut, you're going to want to take that shortcut. And then if you end up having issues, you wonder why. Or another good example is when you say, oh, wow, this person has this hair product that they're selling. I like their hair. I want my hair to be that long. You start to follow the steps that they take. Oh, this is, how do you do, what's your routine? And then when they say, oh, this is what I do, I apply this, and then I wear a silk scarf. Every time I try these things, it's just a waste of time. It's not for me. It's not for me. I do this because now you've set a standard for yourself to follow. And that's what ambition would do for you, whatever your ambition is. And ambition will give you that drive to seek opportunities to learn, to develop new skills, to expand your knowledge. For instance, I can sing. I know I can really sing, but I've never fully learned how to play an instrument. And this is not for lack of ambition. It's because every time I tried to learn, something would happen. I remember when I tried to learn and the person who was teaching me was harassing me. And I just never tried again. But I really, really see myself like performing and playing the keys. And because of that, even at my big age, I'm still planning to learn. And I'm taking active steps to learn, and I'm taking active steps to learn how to play, because ambition will give you that drive to learn new things, new skills, expand your knowledge through books, classes like this, like WoW, mentorship. So each and every one of you, for even being here, are ambitious, and I commend you for that. Another key characteristic is leadership. This is so important as a woman, and I see that it's something that a lot of women lack, the ability to lead. The quality of leadership is one that is so important, because remember, the first WoW we had, I know many people weren't here, we spoke about who a woman is by design. And by design, a woman is a nurturer, a woman is a leader, a woman is a caretaker, a woman is a protector, a woman is one who can take nothing or something little and make it into something. A woman who can take an idea and blow it out of proportion. A woman who is a manager, because the thing that differentiates you from the man is your womb. Because men have boobs, they're just not like ours. Men have their own genitalia as well. The only thing that the man does not possess, that a woman possesses, is a womb, which is why you're a womb man, which makes you a woman. And so the function of a woman, of a womb man, if you go by the design, because for everything there is, it is made to look how it looks for its function. If I had this notebook, and the person who designed this notebook designed it for me to write, it cannot be round like this hand sanitizer. How would I write on something that's a circle? So it's flat because it has to be written on. It has the pages and the lines in there to help me identify when I'm writing. So everything that there is made for its function. If I have a pen, I need to hold it and I need to move my hand in this motion. And because of that, it has to be narrow, it has to be thin, and it has to have this length for me to hold it. And some people will make pens that are as short as this one. But even at that, it has to still have the same look because it's created for its function. Are you with me so far? So by function, a woman is so powerful. You take a man's sperm and you turn it into a child. You incubate for months on end, denying yourself certain types of things. You can't drink this, you can't eat that, you can't bend this way, you can't lay that way. And you do it with such ease. You're able to sacrifice because of the end goal. You know you're going to birth a baby at the end. That is the primary function of a woman. So a woman is able to take an idea and have the patience and have the quality to sacrifice because of where she's trying to go. But 8 out of 10 times in today's world, they try to make women want to be like the men. Why do you want to be like the man when you are so powerful and uniquely created? And so there's a dysfunction already. So you don't feel quite like yourself because you're not being quite like yourself. There's a saying that goes like, you only need to live once if you live life well. And how are you going to live life well when you're not living as your true self? A woman, everybody is so quick to talk about the Proverbs 31 woman. Did you read that scripture properly? It says that she's kind. It says she works. It says she takes care of this and she takes care of that and she does this. And at the same time, she's not the woman. She's kind. She's respectful. She's humble. Are you all those things first before you're so quick to say she's a warrior? These are qualities of leadership. And the number one quality of a leader is love. Number one quality of a leader is love. You cannot lead if you don't have love. Because love in itself is a function and a byproduct of wisdom. Because for you to be able to love a person, you have to see through and past their insecurities, their shortcomings, and understand why they are the way they are. And this wisdom is only God-given. A person who does not have wisdom can never truly know how to love. I put it to you. Quote me anywhere. Book of Nini chapter. Without wisdom, you cannot know how to love. This is why God is love, and Jesus is the wisdom of God. Because love is a phenomenon that it's not a feeling. It's very intentional. It's something that goes above the heads of a person who's unwise. They're going to think you're stupid. But it's in fact wisdom and a strength, because hatred is so easy. And hatred is cowardice because you can hide behind your insecurity. You can hide behind anything and pretend like you hate a person when indeed you truly love them. Let me tell you, on the other side of hatred is love. Anybody who acts like they hate you is a lie. They love you. Something inside them, they really, really are obsessed with you. And so because they can't bring themselves to be wise enough to see that I admire this person, there's something about them that I like, there's something about them that I want to be. And they turn it into hatred because they don't have the wisdom to identify what they're feeling. A leader has to possess love. Another thing that a leader has to have is patience. You have to be patient. You have to be patient. Because as a leader, you have to lead from the front. And what people see is what they emulate. If I'm speaking to you now and I say, oh, come to WoW, or if you had maybe listened to me at maybe 3 a.m. and I didn't have an iota of sense in anything I said, you wouldn't register just because, oh, Prof said we should register. You wouldn't. The truth is, patience is also a byproduct of wisdom. And this is why we're speaking about wisdom, because the Bible tells us that wisdom is the principal thing. It really is, because wisdom is love, essentially. Wisdom is going to teach you love. And when you have love, even the Bible tells us that the biggest commandment, the most important commandment, the greatest commandment is that of love. Because if you can love the Lord your God, then you can love your neighbor as yourself. As yourself first, you see? He didn't say love your neighbor. He says as yourself, which means first you have to love yourself. So if a leader is insecure, you cannot lead anybody. You have to love your neighbor as yourself, because you cannot give what you do not have. So when you see people who are hating on you, it's not their fault. They just don't have it to give you. They don't have it. And you cannot give what you don't have. So as a leader, you have to possess the quality of wisdom or love and patience. Because we've heard that love is patient, love is kind. The Bible didn't tell us that love is blind. Love is intentional. It chooses to overlook. It covers. It doesn't cover up. it covers. Because there's a difference between covering up and covering. Because when you cover up, you're not addressing what it is. When you cover, you address it, but in a bid to help them, to cover them, to protect them. Because if I know that you're going to go down a road that's going to destroy you, and I truly loved you and cared about you as a leader, I would call you to the side. I'm not going to expose you. I'm going to call you to the side and talk to you about yourself and say, I noticed this and I noticed this and I noticed that. That's what a leader does. And a lot of women don't have that. In today's age, you see women who are like, you know me, I'm going to tell it like it is. And you take and mistake rudeness and bad behavior for being upfront. That's not what God tells us to do. That's not wise. And so when a person already possesses certain characteristics of just being loose with their tongue, I already know who you are from there. A leader is able to effectively communicate. Some people, when they text you like this, it's like you want to just enter that phone and slap them. Like, who are you talking to? You're able to effectively communicate. For instance, somebody has done something to wrong you. You don't like it, but you love them. You're able to communicate that you don't like what they've done, but you love them at the same time without them feeling that you've put them down. Now, some people are just crazy and they're just going to see what they want to see and hear what they want to hear. But that's not on you. As the onus is on you to do your best to show love and correction or displeasure at the same time. A leader, as a woman, you ought to be able to do that. Because if you can't do that, if you can't effectively communicate, how do you effectively communicate your ideas? You will have issues with everybody. That's why they say today that women are problematic. You want to go buy food somewhere, or you want to do this business with this person, and they're not able to understand what you're saying. You've lost your like, did you not hear what I said? You not hear what I said? So, you lose it because you're not able to effectively communicate. And even in cases where the person you're communicating with is not able to communicate effectively with you, it's on you to try to communicate what you're saying. If they're going off on a tangent, hearing what you did not say, because some people have Leviathan living inside of them, and you say one thing and they hear another thing. You should have the wisdom, the patience to effectively communicate and engage with people. This is why I don't like texting people in this day and age, because people just lose things in context. I like communication, conversation, because things can get lost in context. You can misconstrue. But if you hear my tone, you can tell what I'm trying to express to you. And that's why I'm very, 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 very skeptical about who calls me, who gets my number, because communication is such a powerful tool that you have to be careful what you say, who you say it to, how you say it. What you listen to is very, very important, because it starts to sprinkle seeds in you. And it might not show any effect until maybe 10 months later, you're acting on something that has been deposited in your spirit 10 months ago. And that's how they do in the world, where they use movies and music to influence us. That's why influencers are so powerful today, because you've seen this influencer dress up so nicely. She's done this and she's done that. And now she's telling you to buy this product. You're going to buy it because she has sold you a reason. She has sold you a vision by communicating with you her idea without you understanding. And that is the power of a woman. That's what a woman should have. If you read Proverbs 31, that's part of the thing it says. All through scripture, when we see all the women, Esther was wise. She didn't go and say, King, Look at what this person has done. Look at what this person has done. She invited both the culprit and the king to a banquet, fed them, made them happy first. First time, second time, they were happy with her before she made her case. And there was no way after she had already pleased the king, he would have refused. And that's very godlike. If you guys remember the David Nathan story, God didn't just say, I will. He first sent his prophet to say, oh, this is the situation, this is this is that. And if we were to fashion our lives after God, we are to think like him. A leader is able to communicate effectively, because that's the only way you can foster an environment that is supportive and collaborative, even in the midst of chaos, even when you're working with people who don't like you. If you're a good leader, if you're able to effectively communicate, if you're able to just demonstrate leadership qualities by how you compose yourself, how you carry yourself, doesn't mean that you put yourself high above everybody, but by how you carry yourself, compose yourself, it will make a world of difference. Even if they don't like you, they can't confront you. They're going to be doing behind your back. And if you can't confront me, then I'm not aware. So my next point is resilience. In the face of adversity, in the face of obstacles, if you are able to carry a child in your womb for 9 months, you can face anything if you decide to face it. You have to have the resilience, because you're not going to say, it's 6 months, I'm so tired of all the way I feel, I'm done, cut this baby out. Some people do it. Some people do it. They're like, I'm ready to take this child out. Just take it out. But a woman with a vision exhibits resilience in the face of obstacles and adversity. And the only way to be resilient is one thing, one key factor, is to always stay positive. Is to always stay positive. Like, be so positive that you disgust people around you. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, can you not see what's going on? Like, I can see, but always see good in a situation. I know I irritate people when I'm like that. Somebody's come to me to report somebody to me. And I hear you and I sympathize with you and I tell you what I feel. But I will give you the flip side. I'll be like, yeah, but you know, this is the reason why they act like that. And I mean, you might need to say this and say that, but that positive outlook on life will give you the resilience to go through anything. It will help you to learn from your failures instead of focusing on them. And it will help you to use your setbacks as opportunities to grow and to refine that vision that you have. A positive mindset, a positive outlook towards life is the key to a resilient woman. And some people call it stubbornness. It's like, yeah, stubborn. If I want to get something done, I could wait 30 business years and keep working at it till I get it done. And that's why I say vision is really focused. And it's a mission. Because if you didn't have no vision, for instance, when I started Watch Kids, I had the vision, and my vision was Disney Kids. And I'm starting out with teaching them how to pray and teaching them the stories of the Bible. And I'm finding out gradually that, oh, some of them can sing, some of them can play piano. Boom, the next idea I have summer camp in my head. I didn't know what I was doing when I started it. I just saw what the Lord showed me at the end, the vision. And I start to work on it gradually. The same thing with WoW. When I started it, I was just going by following an instruction. And even today, when I didn't have the energy to come on here, even 2 days ago when I was like, do I cancel it? The reason, it's usually at the beginning of the month, but the reason why I pushed it till now is because there's just been a lot going on, things that I've had to do where I haven't had the time. But the resilience is because regardless of whatever setbacks that might come concerning WoW, I know that this is helping people. I know that because it's helping people, it's helping me. And because it's helping me, I will do it and get it over with. And once I've gotten it over with, I will feel peace within me. And if I understand the setbacks that I have had concerning this edition, because, oh, I just didn't have time to promote. I just didn't have time to do this. I really wish that I wanted to do 2 lives. I wanted to, just to engage women and this and that. Now I learned the reason why I wasn't able to do those things, whether I didn't plan adequately or whether I've learned from it. I'm not gonna look at it like, oh, I didn't do what I was supposed to do and beat myself up for it. Absolutely not. That's the power of resilience. And some people will say you are stubborn. If that's what you call it, I call it resilience. Because you need that to be able to really achieve anything in life. Somebody comes and tell somebody that, oh, I want to set up a restaurant. I want to do a food business. And somebody comes and tells you, man, I did that and it failed. Then you decide, I'm not doing it again. One of my friends said this and this and this and that. He even said people came and boggled their shop. No. If you are a positive person, you'd understand that, okay, they have a problem of theft. What do I need to do? I need to get security. I need to do this. You start to see things out of the problems that they had. But if you're the person who's already a negative Nancy, you hear or see one thing that doesn't look right and you take off. So a positive mindset will give you the ability to be resilient. Exactly. Resilience in itself is a positive word. Stubbornness is what they try to make it look negative. So if people say you're stubborn, you say, no, I'm resilient. That's what I always say when they say you are so stubborn. I'm like, no, I'm resilient. And you know why? Because I know what I want. Because I see what I see. You're like, oh, I want to buy a pen, and I give you a specification. I want to buy a pen, and I want it to be this and this, and they'll be like, oh, no, we don't have that, but you can take this. I'll be like, no, I don't want that. I know what I want. Because you've seen this pen in your mind's eye, you've written with it, you put it on your table, you already seen it. You're not going to settle for anything other than that. People say to me, there's so many men around you. How come you just don't want to marry one of them? I said, because I'm not no ordinary woman, so I can't be with no ordinary man. So there are many men around me, but I cannot be with a man that's ordinary because I'm not ordinary. And you have to know to be able to know what to do. Okay, so for the sake that people are getting married and people think that, oh, your biological clock is ticking, you should get married. And then you get married. Now what? Are they going to live in this marriage with you? Are they going to deal with the person in the marriage with you? No. Resilience. And it's not a negative thing. It's just the thing that helps you to know how to stay on your focus. The next key is empowerment. A woman with a vision, she always strives for success, but she always is looking for how to empower people, because you understand that the way to be empowered is to empower others. It's like you do your hand like that. When your hand's like that, because you're not giving, you can't receive. So you think that I've arrived, I have this, I have that, I have this knowledge, I have this money, I have this business. If you're not pouring out into others and raising others with you, you are dying because you're not growing. Because your vision starts to expand. You pour into another person. As you pour into that person, you're getting more understanding. As I'm teaching, even I'm teaching myself. I'm learning too. And that's one of the best ways to give, to receive, is by giving. And these are all biblical principles that we really just can apply to our lives. There's nothing outside of scripture here. And I don't need to quote scripture even. It's biblical. When you give, you receive. I've shared this many times that God had pointed out to me the importance of being able to receive. Because the law is that when you give, you will receive. So when you're not able to receive help from people, check yourself. You have a problem of pride. Because you're like, oh, I'd rather give. I don't want to get nothing from nobody. Because you're afraid that somebody's going to look at you like they've done something for you. No. If you give, you must receive. So when people try to help you, receive the help and say thank you. Unless it's one that comes with contempt, or it comes with ill intentions. When people try to help you, receive the help. Matter of fact, sometimes ask for help. I had to be delivered from that, and I'm still going through deliverance. I don't like to ask for help. I didn't like to ask for help. I didn't know how to receive help. I didn't even know how to receive compliments, because like I said, there was such a time where I had to shrink myself to make people comfortable. You go out and everyone's saying, oh, you're the one that everybody wants to talk to amongst your friends. And so because of that, when you're going out, you don't want to dress up as much so your friends will be comfortable. Why is she the one they're always talking to? You don't want to talk too much, because once you open your mouth and engage in conversation with somebody, you're the one everybody wants to listen to. So now you don't want to talk so you can have your friends comfortable. You know what the problem is? What kind of friends have you chosen to be around? Because what is not watering you is killing you. So you have to be as empowered to empower. Somebody has to be pouring into you as you are pouring into others. And as you are being poured into, you must pour into others as well. You must support other people. If you see somebody who needs help, help them. You have knowledge that somebody needs, help them. People will be like, oh, you're always so quick to connect people to each. I don't see people who just connect others like that. You give this person's contact. I'm like, this is a big deal. People don't do that. Because if I have something that you need, or you need something and I know somebody who has it, I will connect you to the person. Because that's the only way you can impact. Everybody keeps saying they want to change the world, but that's how you change the world, one person at a time. Because you change one person's life, that person goes on to change 100 other people's life, and it's a snowball effect like that. You are changing the world. So you have to be concerned about the people around you as much as you are concerned about who you are around, because you have to be empowered to empower. And I see people who don't like to share, who don't like to give. I'm weary of you. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. When you're driving on the road, you are not going to give people a chance to go. When you're eating your food, you're not going to like to share. you know, you're going to be hoarding your clothes. You're going to be hoarding information that can help others. And when you do things like that, you are hurting yourself because you still won't be able to receive. It's the law. I didn't create the law. It's the law of God. And so when you need help, you won't find anybody to help you, because you won't even be able to ask for help, because you know that's in if you were in that position and the person was on the other side, you wouldn't help them. So you don't ask for help and you're like, oh God, my life, my life, my life. And then when they ask you like, what have you tried this? Have you tried it? Like, people will not, I just don't want to stress people. Why do you think you will be stressing people? Because you would feel stressed if somebody came to you. So if you feel like you're a good person, why won't you be able to? You wouldn't even need to ask. It's the law. A lot of times when you sow, you reap what you sow. It might not always be where you've sown it, but you will reap what you sow. 8 out of 10 times when I need help is the people that I didn't even think of, that I didn't even expect, that I didn't even ask for anything before I ask. Or even when I ask, they will fall over themselves to help me. Always happens. Because that's the way we can all thrive. How can I be somewhere? There's this example that we always give in Nigeria. It's not a Nigerian thing, but let me just use Nigeria as an example. You live on a street that has poor people, and you're the only rich person there, and you're feeling like a king. One day, they will turn on you. And you're not truly rich because your environment and what you see around you determines who you are. Because it will affect your thinking, how you drive, what time you want to get home. Maybe you're paranoid, like, I can't park my car here. I can't drive at this time because I don't want them to rob me. It's affecting your thinking. You're not able to be free. You're not able to be yourself. So how are you rich? When all of them will still come and meet you, start, give me this, man, give me this, give me that. You are not rich. You're poor. I'm going to close soon and then we'll take Q&As, but I have 3 more points to go. When you empower people, then you make impact. That's the next point. Impact. I always say how you live is how you die. And you don't know how you've lived until you died. When my mom passed, the people that showed up at her funeral blew our minds. Crying, rolling on the floor. What are we going to do now? This one says she used to pay my son's school fees. This one says she used to send money to my family every time. Things that we did not know. Like my mother had children that we didn't even know that she had. Till today, I still have people sending me messages saying that if you need anything, your mother was such and such and such. Or sometimes, maybe you get a referral. You get a referral. And then when you get a referral, you realize that you're being favored because somebody has referred you, because of the impact that they've had. And you say, no, if it's this person that sent you, I'm going to treat you like this. So how do you want to impact the world? The reason why you are here is because I've been able to make an impact on you somehow. The reason why that your friend will come to you for advice is because you've been able to make an impact on them somehow. because you've poured into them, you've empowered them by impacting them. And the reason, the focal point of making an impact is the mindset to make a difference. If you have the mission to look good, or I just want people to see me as this, I want people to see me as that, you will fail, because you will start and you won't be able to keep it up. Like I said, your why, your reason will always show in everything you do. You don't have to tell people. It's just something that's intuitive. People can just tell something that's fake and phony from something that's real and authentic. You can say real and authentic from now till Jericho, but people can tell. It's like I'm watching a person perform on stage. I'm like, this person can really sing, they can dance, but there's just something fundamentally wrong. Something's off. This person is so pretty, but I don't know, there's just something. No charisma. And there's this other person who's not as pretty, but they just have this oomph to them. You can't fake these things. The key is to having a mindset of wanting to make a difference. And everything else will follow. Presence, thank you. Everything else will follow. In your community, at your job, in your industry, just have a mindset to make a difference. You're constantly looking for ways to actively, positively contribute. That's how you leave a lasting legacy. That's how you get people to like you. It's not by doing the most and trying to be familiar with people, talking too much, seeming like a creep to people. That will creep people out. You're giving people unnecessary nicknames that you don't know. Where do I know you from? What's the familiarity about? And then when they pull back a little bit, you look at them and say, oh, that person is mean. That's this generation. I don't understand it. You say, hey, dear, who? Why? Just call me my name, that's fine. And then if we graduate to that place where you get, or I get comfortable with you, to open up a little, to give you that room to get familiar with me, you can go ahead. But the reason why people do all these weird things is because they just don't know how to be themselves. The way to leave a lasting legacy is just have a heart to serve. Have a heart to serve. Impact, service. That is a woman with a vision. When you want a person to favor you, you don't go there seeking favor. You go there wanting to serve them. Because when you serve them and they see how valuable you are, you become almost, I mean, nobody's indispensable, but you become almost indispensable and they will favor you. And it's not being conniving, it's just wisdom. Whenever they went to the temple, they would carry gifts. Whenever they went to see the king, they would carry gifts so that they could receive favor. Did I say 2 more points or 1 more point? 2 more points. Okay. A woman with a big vision has to have something very important called adaptability. You have to be able to adapt. You're not a tree. You can move. You have to be fluid. You have to be open to change, because change is the only constant thing in the world. You can't be set in your ways. Because as you grow and progress towards your vision, you must understand that change will come. You have to embrace new opportunities, learn from feedback. Oh, how can I do this better? Oh yeah, but this is my favorite color, I can't change it. But if the color is putting people off, is it you that's going to buy your product? People say your food is too spicy. You say, yeah, but I like spice. Are you going to be the one to buy your food? or people tell me, yeah, make your music this way, make your music that way. I could take the feedback and modify it. I don't have to do it exactly how they want, but you will take the feedback. You have to. Can't be offended about it. You can adjust your approach where necessary and still stay true to your goals. And if you're truly a visionary, if you have vision, you should be able to express with various aspects. If you can't express what you want to say in this way, you'll be able to find a way. I was watching someone, this preacher, his name is Benny Prasad, is an Indian musician who has traveled the whole world, has beat the Guinness World Records of the most traveled man in the world in a short period of time. And he said that he was performing on, I think, BBC, I can't remember where he was performing, and he had this hat that says, I love Jesus. And then they said, no, you can't do that. We don't put religious statements or political statements on here. And he said, he asked the Holy Spirit, how can I share your message without really sharing your message? I've said this before. Some people go and do Jesus is Lord ministries or Jesus is Lord cakes and, just weird names. You have to be wise. And said God gave him a strategy. And so he says, I love India. I love India. No, Jesus loves me because Jesus loves me even though I'm Indian. So he put that on his hat and he would wear it everywhere. When they say, yeah, you can't advertise, he said, no, I'm advertising the fact that I'm Indian. So wise, so good. You cannot be rigid in the way that you think. You can find different ways to express yourself. Somebody says, yeah, I don't like this thing. It smells, I can smell the eggs in your cakes when you make them. Okay, so make 2 versions. One that is full of eggs and one that's not full of eggs. Somebody says, oh, I don't like my food oily. Some people say, I need to see the oil because as Nigerians, we like oil. I need to see oil. Make 2 different versions. Something, peppered goat meat, spicy, mild spice. Just be creative. Be adaptable. Because that's what sets you apart. Low fat. Thank you. I didn't have the words, you see? There you go. Woman of wisdom. And you see that these things start to help you even in your relationships. A person says to you, I don't like it when you say this to me. And you're like, but it's not that big a deal. They don't like it. So don't do it to them. The way this person likes to be spoken to is not the same way that person likes to be spoken to. You can apologize first and then explain to them, oh, if they're offended, this is what I didn't think it would offend you. I'm so sorry. And then you understand. You have to know how to adapt. That's why I said you have to have wisdom to know how to love. It's the same principle. And the only thing, the factor that stops people from being able to do that is pride, because you think you know it all, because you think you have it figured out. But a person who is humble is able to, in reality, understand that you have to understand the way people think to be able to serve them. And then you realize that you can create a future that aligns with your intrinsic values, your aspirations, and turn that into something tangible that people can touch in reality. And our last, very similar to, it's not the last, but for today, is collaboration. Collaboration. You cannot have a problem with collaborating with other people. You have to understand the value of collaboration. You have to understand the value of relationships. I am nothing without the people in my life, however few or many they are. When I go through anything, the thing that gives me strength is the people in my circle. So you might say, I want to set up a store as a fashion designer, but my strong suit is in making suits. I don't really know how to do ready to wear, or I'm not a designer, but I'm good at sewing. Why don't you collaborate with somebody who's great at sewing? You have a partnership, and boom, you have a business that thrives. Instead of creating only your thing, when you know that if you collaborate with somebody else, it will take you leaps further. You have to learn to collaborate. Somebody knows how to sing, and you know how to produce, and your singing has not gotten you as further as you want to get, or because you are a singer, you need a producer, and then you probably can't afford that producer or that producer or that producer. Collaborate, work together with him and tell him that, you know what, when I make X amount of money, I'll split 10% with you if you do this for me. That's wisdom. It could even be something as simple as let's barter. You know, most of these influencers, that's what they do. I have my following, you have your product. You want to make your product popular, I put it on my page, you give me the product and you pay me. That's really what it's like, exchange. There was a time that cowries was the way they exchanged. Money is just a legal tender. And we exchange it to get what we need. So if what you need is money, and the thing that this person is offering you will in turn help you get money, why don't you collaborate with them? Again, pride is what stops a lot of people from collaborating, because they feel like, I want to get all the glory. I don't want people to feel like I shared, that it's not me that did this. Why? The reason why Hollywood is as big as it is because there's collaboration. You can have over 50 people work on one project. When you are seeing all the end credits of a movie, you're like, who are all these people? You probably don't even know them or will not know their names. But you see those credits is how they will get their foot in the in the door to get the next project, because now it's on their CV. And then they can go there and say, oh, I worked on this project and I worked on that project. And collaborating will give you that edge in trying to get. Sometimes people come to me and say, oh, can I give you my product? I know it's not because they like me. Yeah, they might like me a little, but they just want to use my platform to advertise their business. If it's something that I like, I'll say, sure. Like this hair, for instance, I bought it, but I'm saying if somebody, for instance, had given me hair extensions to use, when I have a picture like that and post it on Instagram, and I just say something normal, and I just say hair by such and such, I've collaborated with them. I've gotten my hair done. I've gotten my nice picture. They've gotten their thing. They're happy. They didn't sell it to me. They didn't make that money, but they've gotten a followership that has now advertised them freely to those people. Thank you so much. Advertise them freely to people, something they would otherwise have taken maybe another 1 year to get. So you understand the value of collaboration, relationships, partnerships. Even in marriage, you understand that it's not about what you want. You have to understand how to partner, how to compromise. Relationships, whether with your friend, whether with your spouse, whether with your partner, etc., etc. That doesn't mean you can't put your foot down and express yourself and say, this is what I like, but you need to be able to, like I said, adapt and collaborate. Because a lot of times you can have a vision, but collaborating with others will help you bring it to life. No matter how beautiful you are, no matter how great you are, you cannot, you can do IVF, but even that you need help. You cannot birth a baby on your own. You can't start a family on your own. You still need a partner to do that. And it applies in everything that we do. God will not do anything without man. Man cannot do anything without God. Collaboration. He says, I want to partner with you. Come, let us reason together. So it's so important for us to understand, if God who created us was not proud to say, let me make them in my image, to the point where it's been said, who is man that you are mindful of him? So why won't we humble ourselves and understand? Because God understands that he's there and he's God. He doesn't need us, but we are his hands and his feet on earth to do the things we need to do. So we have to understand that we have the privilege to partner with him, for him to bring his vision to life through us. So that's why he's the one that still gets the glory. So when you partner with a person on that business, when you partner and collaborate with a person, it doesn't take anything out of you. It takes nothing out of you. It's still your business. It's still your marriage. That person is still your friend. It doesn't take anything out of you. And so this is where I will draw the curtains today so that we can have a few questions and answers before we go. I hope you guys have had a great time so far. And I hope that this has been, wow. I had a great time. I've had a great time for sure. Anybody has questions? You are most welcome. Any questions? No questions. Wow. That's amazing. I'm just now reading the comments. Okay. Okay. And I can speak
call me
Yoruba.
Yes.
Can you pronounce your name? Because I speak Yoruba well, but the fact that
a lot of Yorubas don't pronounce it. They pronounce. I know why you're trying not to pronounce it, because it means a different thing in Yoruba. It's Igbini Jesu.
Okay.
Yeah, it means I'm under the banner of Jesus.
Igbini Jesu.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Something else, so it's showing a different name. So I don't know, maybe it's a kind of difficulty for me. When you were talking about collaboration, I'm screaming here because really, I really do function on my own. I focus a bit more, I think clearer, and of course, I can't yield as much as I will with others, but it's difficult. I find it difficult collaborating. I don't find it difficult interacting, but I'm easily swayed over by, if I was doing something right and somebody said, oh, this business doesn't sound right, do it this way. It's easier for me to lean over the other way. So sometimes I find myself really, really preferring to work alone. How do I overcome this?
The answer is that you need clarity. And that's what we've been harping on. When you have clarity on your purpose, on your vision, on your mission, nobody can sway you over. Okay. When you know what you know, it's like God tells me, and this happens to me. I'll use this as an example. Sometimes God will show you something and give you a vision, and you'll be asking yourself, is it me? Is that my flesh? Is it me? Is that my flesh? So if somebody comes and tells you that, yeah, that's not what God said, it's because you are not sure that you heard from God. Because when you are sure that you heard from God, nobody can tell you nothing. You know what you know. I always say, you know your name is Igbini Jesu. I hope I said it right. Igbeni Jesu. Igbeni Jesu. If somebody came and called you Winnie, you're not going to answer. If somebody came and told you, nope, your name is Winnie, you'll be like, what do you mean? Because you know that you know that you know what your name is. It's in the same way. You need to have the clarity in your vision for you not to be easily swayed over or not to be swayed over. Now you can adapt and modify things, but to be swayed over is a lack of clarity, is a lack of understanding why you're doing what you're doing. I can't be going to I live, for instance, now in Beverly Hills. I can't be going to Santa Monica. Then somebody says that, oh, I'm going downtown. Do you want to hit your right? And I hop on their car when it's two different directions. If I knew where I was going, I would never hop in that car. But maybe if I'm a stranger in LA, or if I didn't know the map of LA, I could go with them. Does that make sense? When you have clarity and understanding of what you're doing and why you're doing it, nobody can sway you over. And that way, if you collaborate, if anything, it would even help you to take your vision. In fact, it will amplify your impact and bring your vision to life. Because you're not supposed to do anything on your own. God did not create anybody to do anything on your own. Even when he sent the disciples, apostles out, he sent them out in twos. He created Adam and said, it's not good for man to be alone. So you are not supposed to do and figure everything out on your own. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Winnie.
Thank you. Speaking about clarity, as soon as she was saying, I was thinking clarity. And then now I'm thinking, hold on, how do I increase my clarity? Okay, I have an idea. I know this is are there any steps? Are there any tools that one can employ to increase that clarity? And you get to that point, like you said, I will spend 23 hours and 1 hour applying what I've done. Is there anything we can do to increase that clarity so that it's crystal clear? This is it.
Yes. Write the vision. When you can see the vision, when you can see it, you can see what's missing. You can see what's too much. I'm a writer, and sometimes you just download your stream of consciousness as you're writing. You're not editing. You can't be editing as you're writing because it would take away from what you've gotten, the download. Well, you first download it and then you now start to edit. Oh, there's a typo here. Oh, this is tautology. I can say this in another way. I can say this in a more concise way. I can say this in a way that is more pungent. You write the vision, and then when you write the vision, you have to keep going back to it to fine-tune it. You have to keep fine-tuning it until it's clear as day. Because that's why it says, write it down first, then you make it plain. Make it plain. That means it's an action that you have to do. You have to keep doing what you need to do. And that means it's continuous. So if you say, oh, I want to do this business, you have to first do what you need. You have to do. It's in the doing. So if you make a mistake here, you'll be like, okay, I've learned from what I didn't do right then from doing something. Then you can go back to the drawing board and say, okay, that's why it didn't work. Let me do this. The people who created electricity, that man did it 100 times before we were able to get power. If he had given up on the 80th time or even the 97th time, we wouldn't have electricity today. It's from doing and the continuous fine-tuning and learning from what he didn't do right that he was able to get that defined vision. So that's the step.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay. I think this is where we draw the curtains today. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Oh God. Thank you guys for coming on. As I always say, and I hope that is not the last time, I believe I wanted to say the last recording I don't know what happened, why, I don't know, we weren't able to get it from the cloud, and we emailed Zoom, and Zoom, we're yet to get a response from them. And sometimes it happens like that, where you would record something and then they'll have to get it from their cloud. So as soon as we get it, we'll send it out to everybody from the last WoW. And this one as well, everybody is going to get, even though we didn't start recording on time, everybody's going to get a recording of it. Thank you very much for coming. I hope to see you next time. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. Bye.